So I have a couple of different ways I could introduce our next guest to you. So since I don't have to choose one, I'll just go ahead and tell both of my potential explanations for you. So one thing I was going to tell you is our next guests are here to talk about healthy eating and literal farm to fork meats for your family. The other thing that I think is so great is that we live in a day and time where land seems to be developed for the purpose of housing, and that has its place, but they bought an established family farm and they kept it as such. They kept their word. So who I'm talking about are Joe Riley and Melissa Shepard, who have Quail Run Farm. Good to see you.
Thank you so much for having us in.
Is it okay that I told that part of the story?
I think that's great. Yeah, it was a local family that had owned it for 50 years, and the family before them 50 before that, and so it was really important to us to keep it as a veteran-owned, family-operated farm.
Okay, so what we're going to dig into here is that at Quail Run Farm, it's really everything. As I mentioned, the farm to fork, but then you have tiny homes, you have health classes, right? You have everything there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's your own little place to come and have a family adventure out on the farm. So in addition to selling beef and pork and chicken and turkey and eggs and honey, and we have ducks, you can also bring your family out. Melissa is a CrossFit instructor.
Yeah.
And so you can tell a little bit different accents between Melissa and
we'll get her talking, yeah.
So Melissa runs our Farm Fit program. We also have tiny homes on the farm, glamping, and you can come and pitch a tent. So many options to come experience the farm.
Okay, what is farm fitness, Melissa?
Yeah, so Quail Run Farm Fitness is functional fitness-based classes. I also do one-to-one, but it's 3 different types of classes. So we do CrossFit style classes, functional fitness style classes, and then the proper farm fit as well, which is driving T-posts, anything on the farm that you can think of.
Oh, really? So you maintain the farm, but you get a workout in the process. Is that kind of it?
Yeah, and hay bales.
What is functional fitness? What is that?
So functional fitness basically strips fitness back to how it was in the old times. It's not adding anything complicated. It's replicating movements that you do in your everyday life. So deadlifting, you're squatting as if you were sitting down in a chair. It's how it should be, really.
Have you seen the Blue Zones? Have you seen that documentary, The Blue Zones?
No.
I'll make it super fast because I want to talk about you. But it takes a look at 6 different parts of the world where people live to be 100 in a high number.
Yes, I have.
And one of the things that you find is that they don't really exercise, but they move.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that's what that would be.
So my favorite one that Melissa does that's truly both farm and functional is our version of goat yoga is goat squatting. So you put the goat up on your shoulders and do squats with the goat on your shoulder, and you can pick the little goat if you want a little weight, or the big mama goat if you want a lot more weight. So
let's talk the business part of something, and then we'll get to a personal side of things. On the business, so people can purchase like a supply of meat, like half a cow, but you also have a market that operates 7 days a week.
we do. So you can just pull off. We're located at 1345 Birmingham Highway. It's just off Cummings Highway on your way to right last thing you do before you get into Georgia. And so you can pull in, buy eggs, buy hamburger meat, buy bacon, sausage, pot roast. We've got steaks. So any of the meat that you would sell as a whole animal or half animal or quarter animal, we have individual cuts that you can come, and we get those processed at USDA certified processors. So you can just pull off the farm. And the funny thing is we've had some people pull off to get a carton of eggs and wind up buying half a cow by the time they leave.
Well, you know, you have conversations. I have a 19-year-old daughter at home still, and we were talking the other day about some things and just kind of how people look today versus even 30 years ago. And my husband and I both very quickly said it's the food supply. It's the food supply. I mean, it's really, really important that you eat knowing what you're eating.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you can come and actually literally see the animals that you're going to eat and see the whole process. We're a fully regenerative farm, so we move the animals pasture to pasture and then fertilize the grass with poop.
It's hard for we city folk to kind of get into this conversation much. I think for a lot of people, we know things that we don't always want to address, right? But even within your chickens, you have different varieties. You were telling me you have laying hens, and then you also have meat chickens.
And even within the laying hens, there are multiple different breeds of laying hens and multiple different breeds of broilers. And broiler is what you'd use to refer to meat chickens.
So do y'all work in conjunction with each other? Like when you're doing the farm fitness classes, and he'll say to you, hey, Melissa, when your folks come out, have them do this for me this week.
I guess. It depends on the classes, but if it's farm fit and we need some T-post driving, then we'll get people driving T-post.
Yeah.
And Melissa does a great job too in her classes of customizing it to what people want. So a lot of people bring their families out and they come and do it as a family, and that's really good bonding time for them.
I love
too.
the tiny homes. I think that's really fun. So when we share your website with people, is that how they make a reservation for a tiny
Yep,
home?
absolutely.
Yeah.
They can go there. They can reach out to us. We're also, listed on the various Airbnb, VRBO sites, and so you can rent there.
So you said something that got a lot of people's attention earlier, and I just glossed right over it, so I'll circle back. And you mentioned veteran.
Yes.
You yourself are a veteran.
Yes.
But you're a McMinn County born and raised guy.
So I grew up there and got a ROTC scholarship to the University of Virginia, and then went to the Army. And
You were a ranger.
I was, and deployed to Afghanistan, Ukraine, and then our last assignment before we came back to Tennessee was actually at the White House. I was recalled from Ukraine to go serve as kind of lead our counter-China policy on the National Security Council at the White House, and that's my background, which I was in the UK as my master's and doctorate was in international relations at Oxford, where my wife and I were both over there on a program called the Rhodes Scholarship, and so met each other through that, and then came back here.
I feel highly inadequate now.
No.
You just have a little bit of a resume. Just a little bit of one, Joe.
No, the main thing we do is a husband to Rachel, and got two wonderful boys, and if you saw the pictures flash up, we love taking them out riding horses on the farm and doing that. So.
Well, I think it's important to know who you're shopping
Yes.
and what you're going to experience when you go. So Quail Run is the name of the farm that the family had before you took over. You wanted to honor them by keeping it. So it's Quail Run Farm.
Even though we don't actually have quail.
Even
on
though
the
they don't have
farm.
quail.
It's about the only animal that we do not have on the farm.
So check them out. Their website is quailrunfarmtn.com, and there's their phone number. Think about getting one of those tiny homes or glamping it up. Certainly go by the market and see what you leave with besides that carton of eggs.
And we'll deliver to you too.
Oh, you will?
Yep, we'll deliver. So
Within
if you
the
make an
city
order,
or?
Yes, within the city. We also run up to Jasper Highlands, Black Creek, so we're happy to deliver.
Awesome. Come back.
We will.